Welcome back, guys. It's craft time. In today's video, I have made a couple of door hangers. I think they turned out very cute, but it was a process to get there. I can't wait to share it with you. Let's go ahead and get started. To begin this project, I started out with some 12-inch wood rounds that I have. I actually can show you the box here. I was able to get my hands on quite a few of these boxes of 4 12-inch rounds. They come pre-drilled with the holes and with some twine in them, or rope more like, so you can kind of see what it is. I plan on putting a link down in my affiliate links as long as I can find this. I'm pretty positive that these are on Amazon. All right, I decided to make 2 of the same. So my phrases that I'm going with here are welcome on one side and then please leave before knocking on the other. I just thought it would be a fun little reversible sign depending on your mood. I mean, if you try to come see me before I've had my coffee, you're welcome to leave before knocking. If you come after, okay, maybe you can stay. It just kind of depends. All right, so you can leave this the natural wood, I guess, but I wouldn't suggest it. I decided that I was going to stain it. You could also paint it, whatever you prefer. So whenever you begin, you just want to choose whatever colors you're planning to use and go ahead and cover both. I would suggest the both front and the back. I like to make my backs pretty as well as my fronts, and on this side it happens to be reversible, so they both need to look good. So I just took my time and I did 2 different stains. You've seen these in plenty of my videos. The one stain that I use is a Rustoleum stain. It is called Flagstone. It's a really pretty, like, brown grayish toned. It is an oil-based stain. And then I also have one, it's a Minwax. It's also an oil-based stain. It is in the color Walnut. After I have stained both of those, I've given them plenty of time to dry, and I'm going to go ahead and do my acrylic paint to kind of do like a block in the center. So on one side I'm going to do a block of black, and on the other side I'm going to do a block of white. This did take 2 coats for each side. So after the one side has dried, I flipped it over and did the other side. I did use my hairdryer to kind of move it along, and that helped dry it out. However, we have to learn to be patient and not rush our projects. This is something I had to learn the hard way. I did not give my paints plenty of time to cure, and we will get to that here in a minute. So while these are drying, I went ahead and created my wording for the Cricut. On the one side, again, I just did a simple welcome, and then on the other side, I did have to design my little block of words. So after I got that all together, I plan on using the Cricut vinyl stencil. So this is my first time using it. I kind of wanted to play around with it and see how well it worked for me. And I went ahead and put it in and got it cut out and got it ready and prepped for whenever I would be putting it on the sign. After my acrylic paints had dried plenty, I took them outside and I sprayed them with my Rustoleum 2X clear matte and then let that dry as well. The only reason I'm doing that is so that whenever I put down my stencil, it gives that paint and stain a little bit of a protection. So whenever I peel it off, I'm hoping that it will not peel with it or cause any damage. But let me tell you, again, this would have worked a lot better, but I rushed my project. So I put down, centered everything, measured it out, put my stencil down, got it all placed. I think on the one side I tried to use one of those little sponge brushes. I just really didn't like it. I have several stencil brushes, which you can see that they have like the harder bristles. And if you're just really careful and you take it, put it straight up and down and then kind of swirl it, I feel it covers a lot better. It's a lot less messy. You use a lot less paint. And I think it just, like I said, gives better coverage and just looks a little more uniform. I was trying to test out the stencil and kind of play with different techniques to see what works for me. I found that that's what I like best, and I'm going to kind of stick to that. Now, whenever it was time to peel my stencil back off, I tried to use my hairdryer to release the sticky because I do that with all of my masking tape. When you saw that I was doing my acrylic paint down. I measured it, I put down that masking tape to block off and give me clean lines, and then I used my hair dryer to release the sticky. Basically, I heated it up, that way it would peel off nice and clean and I didn't have to worry about it peeling the paint with it. I thought that that would work with my stencil as well. However, I didn't let my paint sit long enough and it just ripped all of that paint that I put down. It was very upsetting because I had already put so much time and effort into it, but that's a lesson learned that I'm going to pass on to you. Give your paint plenty of time to cure. I did have to go back in and do all of the details, so repaint the background, straighten up the letters, make sure they look nice and crisp. I'm pretty good with a paintbrush, so it wasn't the end of the world. However, like I said, took a lot of time. And at that point, that's not something that I had to spare. I went ahead and moved on to the other sign. I was kind of doing them both at the same time. And I thought maybe if I didn't use the hairdryer, it might possibly do different. It did seem to do a little bit better, but it still peeled the paint off and I had to do the same thing. I had to play around with them, see, get everything straightened back up and cleaned back up. And then on the edges of the sign, I also just picked whether I wanted it to be white or black. So for the darker stain, I used black on the side where the blocks are just to give it a nice edge. So I'll show you right here. It's not perfect, but for the chunk of where the white block is, so that when the colors were overlapping, it didn't look very clean, I just went ahead and did the side in black. And then with the other one on the lighter color, I did it in white, just because I felt like that made it all blend a little bit better. All right, so like I said, use the stencil. So the one thing that I do think, again, it was my fault for not letting my paint cure, but I did find that I felt like the stencil, I know you want it to stick really well so that the paint's not able to get underneath it, but I almost felt like it was too sticky. I mean, this is just my personal opinion. I used just plain vinyl as a stencil for something else like 2 days before I started working on this project, and I felt like that worked really well. It didn't peel my paint off at all. It didn't have any bleed marks. It looked really good. So that might be an alternative of something that you can try. Like I said, this is my first time using it. I do plan on looking into other methods and what would work best. But for now, that might be what my go-to is. Or maybe doing it reverse instead of making like a full stencil over. Maybe I weed it to keep my letters, put them down, and then paint over them and remove them. Like remove the individual letters. It might give me cleaner lines, and then but whatever color I put underneath, that's what's going to be showing through. So I'm just going to try to play with it and figure out what I like best, and yeah, I don't know. So moving forward, after those were dry, I took my polyacrylic, which I'll show you right here. It's made by Minwax. It is water-based. It does say it's for interior use. However, a lot of crafters use this and swear that it's fine for outdoor use, so I decided I want to give it a try because I'm very big on sealing things in and making sure that they're going to last. I will tell you that I put this on, it's very thin, it goes on clear, it covered great, but I also covered some vinyl with this on another sign that I had done because it wasn't sticking as well as I wanted it to, and the coat that I put on it for that particular one, it just didn't seem like it did anything. So I switched to this, and those letters did not move after that. So it gave me a lot more confidence. So this is really great. I do know that some places sell this in a spray form. I didn't find that at my local store, but I did find this, a whole little jar. So I can link this below if you're interested in a good sealing coat. But that's what I put on it. After that dried, I was ready to flip the signs over. Now, I didn't do this until the next morning. And I didn't have near the trouble with my paint peeling off as I did the other side. I think that's just because my paint had a good time to sit and adhere and set properly. It did rip in a couple places, but it was a breeze compared to what I had to do for the opposite side. So again, after I was done using my little stencil, filling it in, doing it, I peeled it off and then just cleaned up any edges that needed to be cleaned up, and then I sealed it with the polycrylic. Like I said, these little rounds come with rope. So I went ahead and tied the rope on, and because I made them reversible, I wanted to make sure it looked good from both sides. So I put it through and I just tied it, and then I took some ribbon that I have a whole drawer full of just random ribbons that I've collected over the years to make just this little fun, I don't know, just loose little ribbons everywhere. Because it is reversible, I want it to sit flat on either side, and a bow would kind of make it sit off and not sit nice and flat against a wall or a door or whatever someone's going to put it on. This way you can see the ribbon from both sides of the sign, and it's still cute, it's still functional, and everything works great. So I think it turned out very cute. I did have 2 of them. I have sold one of them, so I have one here to show you. I'll go ahead and pull it up here. So here is the welcome sign. You can kind of see that shine from the polycrylic on it. This is what it looks like with the side where the rope, where the rope came through. It's just straight across, so when it hangs like this, you have all of these little fun little ribbons, just giving it a little more dimension, a little something more fun to look at. And then on the other side is the please leave before knocking. But yeah, so this is what it looks like if it was hanging from the side. I think it turned out really good. I mean, the stencil vinyl definitely does its job, and depending on how you use it, like if you used it on a piece of metal or something without the paint down already, you probably wouldn't have issues with it pulling anything up. Like I said, when I did the other side, it pulled up just slightly, but it wasn't really as big of a deal because I let the proper amount of time. So this could very much be a user error. However, I do think I wish it had just a little bit less sticky so I can get the job done without having to worry about ruining a project halfway through. But yeah, so a cute reversible sign. You can make these say whatever you want. You can paint the colors any way that you want. I'm really big on leaving some of my stuff like this neutral because I like it to appeal to everyone and not just certain people. So you see that I use a lot of like neutral colors. I love bright colors, if you can't tell. So if you've seen any of my like resin videos and stuff, I love like the bright neons and all of that. But there are some things I think that are just simple is beautiful and less is more, and I think this is one of those things. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on how to make this yourself, or if I left any steps out, I'm so sorry. It's been a few days since I've actually made these, and I'm coming back and trying to recall exactly what I did. So if there's anything I missed or you have questions on, leave me a comment below. I am so thankful that you guys are back here with me. If you are returning, thank you so much. If you're new, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I have another video coming out in a little bit, in a couple hours. I really suggest that you tune in because I am celebrating hitting 200 subscribers and I'm wanting to do a giveaway. So please be on the lookout for that video. I will put the link to that in the description whenever it goes live so that you can find it more easily. I'm so grateful for all of you and all of your support. I'm going to go ahead and take you in for a closer look, and I will see you next time.